Guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm happy to have you. To my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about something that had not been reported on the news. I don't think you're going to hear about it, but I did see somebody posting about Elon Musk's tweet that he posted on Twitter saying, and I quote, that he had the plan for the Democrats not to win the 2026 midterms. And so we're going to take a look at that. We're going to see what kind of plan does Elon Musk have. Let me go from there. Alright guys, this video is being recorded on Tuesday, August 26th at 1:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as and when I'm recording this specific video. Again, keep in mind this video is just for entertainment, for educational purposes only as well. And if you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content, and sharing this video with others. Really help boost the algorithm here on this YouTube channel. Especially when you don't use emojis in your comment, it actually helps tell the algorithm, hey, this is actually a real comment. Anyway, I do want to give a quick shout out to my community spotlight. If you are new here, I do a community spotlight every week to try to highlight some of my subscribers who have been actively engaged and have been doing their part to help out the channel. Because this is not just my channel, this is our channel. And so I do want to highlight for this past week, we have here Virginia Taylor, Extreme Brands, Dennis Thomas, KK, welcome, you're new. And we also have here Nancy Dixon. Thank you so much to all of you guys who have done your part, helped out the channel. I do appreciate you, I love you. And let's get on with this. I know you guys hate long intros, so do I. But if you want to stay in the loop and be notified when I do post and upload because YouTube does not notify you, do not worry. Go into the comment section below or the description, follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group, and I will personally notify you in the meantime. Anyway, let's go ahead, let's begin, let's get started. Okay, so Spirit Angels, tell me about the 2026 midterms, Elon Musk's plan for the 2026 midterm. What is his plan? Okay. You gotta be freaking kidding me. Okay. Okay, so they want me to use this. So this is this deck here, in case you guys are wondering. You can find this deck on Etsy. Okay, so Spirit Angels, tell me about what's it called? About Elon Musk. Oh, there's protests here. There's protests. It's the Four of Wands here. There's a lot of opposition. There's a lot of opposition here. Alright, so Spirit Angels, tell me about the 2026 midterms, Elon Musk's plan to prevent Democrats from maintaining control or regaining control and to keep Republicans in power. What is Elon Musk's plan for the 2026 midterms? This is the overall energy. Thank you. Let's see, are there any other cards I flipped? No. Okay. I love when they place the cards in a very particular manner. There's always a reason for the way Spirit does things. Alright, so the first card that comes up is the Three of Swords sideways, right? This means there's a challenge in the past that is ending for this obstacle. So there's an ending of an obstacle to change the outcome of the 2026 midterm. There's a change coming that was not able to be done earlier, or set in precedent, or set in motion. For example, the best way I could describe this, back in 2018, they wanted to do this, but they didn't have the right political climate to do it in. But now they do. And that is why the Three of Swords is ending. This is the past tense, right? This is the past. This is the future. It's facing the past. You can see that here. It's facing the past. Therefore, an obstacle, a challenge to this project or idea or goal is ending. What is above that? It's the Sun card. Or what comes after? What comes after? This is leading to the 2020 election. With the election of Joe Biden, all those things, what can they do to ensure the political climate is needed and right for them to orchestrate? So this is actually, like I've been saying for quite a while on my YouTube channel, that Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election was not by happenstance. It wasn't because people came out and voted. Yes, they did. They came out and voted. But there was a reason why Trump put Biden in office. He didn't make sure that he wasn't in office, because a lot of the things that he did during his first term, he ensured that the Democratic president, the incoming president, would fail, because he put tax rules and tax breaks, inflation, all these things, came about towards the end of Donald Trump's term, screwing over the Democratic Party because he wanted to make the Democratic Party look incompetent. And that's not by accident, that's by pure design. Because it's supposed to usher in Trump stronger, it's supposed to give him a stronger base. This was a long-term game, and this actually, believe it or not, had a high risk to that, because of this risk of being out of power. All those things that you created could have been dismantled. But the Biden administration did not dismantle a lot of the things that Trump did in the first term in regards to the taxes and inflation, all those things. He tried, but it just failed. It failed flat out. But because of this, it was a long-term game. So if you ever look at some of the things that Donald Trump tried to do to be able to get back into power, it always ended up in a 269 scenario, and the Democrats controlled the House of Representatives, which means Joe Biden would have been president any other circumstance. Donald Trump, when he tried to challenge Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona, that would have put him at 269. Not enough to be able to become president, because he did not want to be president in 2020. Because imagine if Donald Trump took power again in 2020 and continued his 4-year term, the situation, the economic situation in the United States would have been 10 times worse under Trump. But that's not the narrative that he wanted to go with. He wanted to ensure that he wasn't in power. And this is what this says here. It reiterates what I've been saying on the channel for quite a long time, is that he wanted to make sure that there's a new person that can come in and to make the political climate so ripe that the American people will be willing to accept anything, because they are so desperate just to have something, that they'll be willing to forego their environmental or forego their own freedoms in exchange for financial security. And that was the whole original game. This was the whole point. So going back into the plan with the 2026 midterm with Elon Musk, we have the lover's card in reverse. The first rule of thumb is, what's part of the plan here? To create a dystopian nightmare. That's what I'm hearing, dystopian nightmare. Create a scenario where people are so divided that they can't agree on what is happening with the current reality. Make sure that every American person is living in different realities or different perspective and how they see the world around them, so they can't come into agreement. And because they are so confused, so disoriented, you're able to take control, you're able to take power, because by you creating a scenario where a lot of Americans are so distorted about the truth and the reality of their own nature, you're able to oppress them with their own minds. You're able to oppress them because you put them in this prison loop. Because nobody can come into the conclusion about the reality of the nation. People who cannot accept the reality of the United States for what it really is. And this is what the devil card symbolizes. The devil card symbolizes that there is bigger forces at play here. If you just realize and take yourself out of the situation of trying to understand everything and just allow things to be as they go, because it's going to happen regardless. But if you take yourself out of the situation, right, you back yourself out a little bit, and you just see the story for what it is. You don't try to understand it, you just see it for what it is. Don't try to make too much sense of it. And it's saying here that by doing that, you separate yourself from this type of imprisonment that they included in your mind. This is a psych warfare. So the main goal is, in the 2026 midterm, is to create a scenario where you are so disinformed, so confused, you don't know what's reality and what's not reality. It's saying here that to take a step back, and see everything for what it is. Don't try to make sense of it. Just see everything for what it is. That's what it's saying. Don't get stuck in this loop. See things for what it is. That's all it's telling you. That's the spiritual advice for you. The next one as well is, as we go into the next card here, we got the moon card, which means hidden intentions. There's hidden information, hidden knowledge, hidden truth. So there is something that's hidden, that's eclipsed in the election. It has to do with the ballots. There's something that's eclipsed in with some sort of hidden thing that's in regards to the election and voting booths and stuff like that. There's something here that's hidden. And here you have it, the Emperor. This is Trump. This is the Republican. This is the administration. This is Project 2025. Why is this significant? Why is the midterm so important to the for the Republican Party? It's not because, Trump could be impeached, Trump could be removed. They actually want Trump removed. That's not actually their main goal to keep Trump in power. That was never the goal. The goal was to usher him into power, remove Trump from power, and to put who they want as president. But the Emperor card comes in as they want to be able to create a dynamic change. Is the word I'm getting. Dynamic change. And how are they going to do that? Well, remember I talked about how Pluto return in the United States indicates a lot of the same themes that, what happened when the United States was formed. It's going to be repeated now. We're going to have the revolutionary type energy. We're now also going to have the Constitutional Convention, the energy of the Constitutional Convention to rewrite the U.S. Constitution. The last time the U.S. Constitution had really been rewritten was 250 years ago, roughly around that time frame. And 250 years ago is normally the Pluto return. This is the longest governing document in the Constitution that governed the United States. The problem is the Constitution failed to govern effectively. It failed to protect every American citizen because it's only interpreted by those who are being put on the Supreme Court. Now, why is this also important? Because most countries, believe it or not, every 17 years within an average nation, the Constitution is amended. Every 17 years. The United States Constitution had never really been amended, had never been changed drastically. So what are the Republicans' end game here with the 2026 midterm is to change the U.S. Constitution. The thing is, the Democrats cannot allow the Republicans to do this because if the Republicans are able to alter and change the U.S. Constitution, it wouldn't necessarily resemble a democratic institution. It will rather resemble a dying empire, a dying authoritarian regime. But if the Democrats somehow end up in control and there is a constitutional convention, then we will end up seeing a multinational party system. So either way, this will be the great opportunity for the United States to determine where its path is going based on precedent. Is it going to go more toward authoritarianism with the Constitution being amended more to fit the regime of an authoritarian power? Or will it be amended to fit a true democratic principle? And that's really where the United States is going to be decided on. It's based off of that constitutional conventional concept. And this is not by accidental. Right, I've been talking about it for a while. I've been trying to do a video, and hopefully I'm going to do it soon, a full in-depth video on the U.S. Constitution Convention that's coming up in the United States. But this is the game plan. The game plan is to maximize the amount of Republicans in every legislator, from your lower branches to your higher branches to your governors, mayors, senators, representatives. The reason is that they can maximize out the amount of people who are in the Republican Party in every different faction of government. So when the Constitutional Convention comes about, it will fit the narrative that they want for the nation. Right? So that is how they do it. The goal is to try to diminish the Republicans from having that majority to where they can dictate the next Constitution of the United States. But also, going back into the reading here, there is more to this plan than originally thought, right? This is more thought out, this is more premeditated. You can't get this information if this was just all about the midterm. This is more about the midterm. This is about the structure of the country at this point. Underneath the Lover's card reversed and the Devil card reversed, which is, again, the mental aspect, getting into his mind concept, you fighting with the reality of everything, trying to question everything, trying to put yourself in this ability where everyday American cannot discern what is truth and what is not. We have here the card that challenges the Lover's card, and the Devil card is the Devil itself. Again, another card that further amplified the energy of the Devil. It's black magic. This is the art of black magic. So, the thing is that this is black magic, right? So part of the plan for 2026 is, specifically for the midterm, is to get people in this mindset that they can't tell what's real or what's not, so that they're stuck. And this is a form of black magic. You can break the spell because Spirit told you, take a step back, see things for what it is. Just don't try to understand it, just see things for what it is. That is how you break it. It's not a curse. It can be broken. Underneath the Moon card reverse, this is something that's hidden in terms of the election than people going out to vote. Again, everything in this video is just for entertainment and educational purposes only as well. But it's something that's hidden. This is in the software. This is in the programming. This is the Goldman Sachs, the Queen of Coins. It's reversed. Why is this interesting? Because this looks like a podium, right? But it also looks like a voting booth podium. But look at where the ballot is. Look at the piece of paper. It's not going in a hole. It's just getting tossed on the floor. While this person is talking, all talk, no action, is saying that the paper is falling on the floor. So I feel like even if the Democrats do come into power, it wouldn't be the Democratic Party of a fighter party. It would be more one that is docile, very dull. I feel very strongly the Democrats wouldn't be what you would think they will be in the next term if they were to seize control in the 2026 midterm. There's something here that is docile, something here that's very dull. But there's faction within the Democratic Party that is fighting, or want to fight. But the majority, the establishment wing, is preventing that. They are with the program, whether you want to admit that or not. They're saying here that they're with the program. They may not appear to be with the program, but they are. And this is Nancy Pelosi. These are the Democrats in control. This is the Democrats in power, right? This is Nancy Pelosi. She was the Speaker of the House. She was the last Democratic Speaker of the House. The moon card, saying here that something is hidden with the result and the outcome of the 2026 midterm, tells us that something shady happened with the ballots. But also, if somehow Democrats do get urged into power with this shadiness, it feels very much like they're very docile, very dull. And there's not as much fighters as you would like to believe. Yeah, they might be fighting now, but once they're in power, they're kind of like, all right, we did our job, we're here. That's it. That's kind of like what it feels like. I feel like there's no passion here, there's no fire. But that's the problem, because the United States, specifically when it comes to the Democratic Party didn't have that passion, didn't have that fire. Because remember, the Democrats are now for the very first time facing what it once was. The Democratic Party was the Republican Party back in the 1800s. This time again, the roles have been reversed. The Republicans became what they had once fought. The Democrats became what they always never knew they were. Complete opposite. Complete turnaround. But that's by design. That's by spirit's design. But remember, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party were never founded right when the nation was originally founded either. It only came later on. And it will die during the Pluto return. So this will be the end of the Democratic Party, and also will spell the end of the Republican Party. But the Democratic Party has to go first, then the Republican Party, and a new multinational party system will be formed. But to get to that point, it's going to be a little bit of a long process, if you will. But underneath this Emperor card here, which is the President or the Republican administration of Project 2025, we have the King of Coins, Elon Musk. There's a goal here, there's an ambition. This is asking the question about what is Elon Musk's plan for the United States for the 2026 midterm. This was not edited in any way. This is raw footage. This is the King of Coins. This is the card that represents Elon Musk. What does the Emperor, what his plan is to fast track the nation towards the goal or idea wherever they want to go. So whatever you start to see on the campaign trail or some comments that they make now up until the midterms, those comments is where they want to fast track the nation to. The question is will they do it? Will they do it? And the other question that I have personally is, are the Democrats ready to fight? Are they just going to stand by and do nothing? Are they going to play politics, or are they going to actually fight? That's a question that a lot of people probably have. I know I certainly have, and I've been seeing this in the cards for a while, that I don't see a fight in the Democratic Party the way that you would originally think. And it goes back to the energy of Bernie Sanders versus Hillary Clinton back in 2016. The energy stemmed from there, and it's been continuous since on then. See how the Democratic Party fights other Democratic contenders or candidates who are trying to represent the Democratic Party, trying to represent progressive ideals. In a climate where, as of now, you don't want to start hurting those who are identifying with your party. You might be hearing on the news right now that you're seeing Democrats hemorrhaging in memberships. That's not accidental. That's by design. Because, like I said many times before, the Democratic Party is going to collapse. The Republican Party will collapse, and they will make one last-ditch effort by co-joining their coalition together, becoming a Democratic-Republican Party once again, just like when the country was first founded. And then they may cease to exist. But there's new party coming, so don't lose hope. There is a fighter party coming. The question is that can the Democratic Party be hijacked? Can the Democratic Party be hijacked to be able to stand up and beat a fight against the Trump regime? Or will it just succumb to the history? Will history overpower the Democratic Party? And that's the question I think a lot of us need to contend with. Will history suppress the Democratic Party and put it into irrelevancy? That's the question that I have. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Love you.